So, Helena, tell me, do I refer to you now as Helena or Jelena or Teta? What is the official name now?
You know what? My real name is Jelena.
I thought so.
Yep, I'm named after my paternal grandmother. So that, and I decided it's on my birth certificate. It's, the 70s, they anglicized names. You went to school. So I became Helen, and I've been Helen for ages. And then, with Sto Nasat, I am Teta. So, you know what? It doesn't really bother. Maybe we stick to Jelena because I think with the book, I really want, and the writing, that's where people know me as Jelena.
Yeah, it is great, and it's just something I have to get used to because yeah, for 30, I mean, this is about the third or fourth time that I've done an interview with you, probably over 30 years, and of course,
I know.
we've covered music, we've covered both your
Yep.
solo career back then, and then obviously your band career and things like that. So it's really, really awesome, and congratulations on the book. You must be really excited.
I am. And thank you. I am incredibly proud of it. And I am excited. I have found this joy, which is unusual for a Croatian woman to be happy. This joy that I don't know. It's like a calling. Sounds a little. No, it is. I just love the art of writing, and I love the art of storytelling. And the difference with this is it's one thing to sing, but I'm singing mostly other people's songs. This is now my chance to tell a story that is mine,
Yeah,
and
and
that I get so much joy out of that.
how did it start? I mean, how did you, basically come up with the concept on this book we're talking about, of course, is behind me called Sing to Me. And I just finished reading it. So it took me literally a couple of days because I was so hooked. The story, evokes so many memories, and we'll go through that in our conversation. But yeah, how did you even come about, with the concept? I mean, how long did it take? What type of writer are you? Are you like one who sits there for 8 hours and nutting it all out, or tell me how the whole thing evolved.
I'll tell you how it started. It was about 10 years ago. I started I went to uni as a mature age student, and all I really wanted to do was the creative writing aspect at Cat Macquarie. And I had the most brilliant tutor, Dr. Michelle Hamadash. And the first exercise she gave us was this little object. I didn't know what it was, popped it on the table, and she said, write a paragraph. And from that little exercise, Milka and that she came. So this husband and wife, um, Miro and Milka just popped up, and then from there it evolved. Then I went and did a course with the Writers Studio. I needed a bit of discipline because I didn't know what to. I really there's a structure to story to telling a story to writing a book, which I didn't understand. So I did a first draft course. I had another brilliant mentor. It's amazing how important mentors are. Anyway, that's something we can discuss. But from there, I just followed this pattern of how to tell a story. Where did these people come from? I, you know, I everywhere. A little bit of everyone and a little bit of all these experiences I've had. Um, I'm going to probably look. Not, the reason I set it in 1980 was that I went there as a child.
That was my next question, actually. Why did you choose
Yes,
1980? So that's quite interesting. Yeah.
1980, and it was winter. It was one of the worst winters. And we went to Zagreb and we went to Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I remember it had left such a profound. It was such a profound experience. And I know that sound. You're thinking, what is she talking about? It really was the fact that it has been seared. Those memories are just seared into my psyche. There's so much I remember, and how do I say it was my first time being overseas, first time my parents had ever taken me on a holiday. And I'd met the only time I really had met either grandmother, the grandfathers had passed away by then, meeting cousins and being in this world that I had no idea existed. And it just left its mark. Can you imagine, it was Yugoslavia back then. And Zagreb was full of all these people who were, there was this, what was it? Not melancholy, this almost bitterness. Everyone was, that kind of Slavic Balkan attitude of, oh God, everything's so hard.
Teshko.
Everything was teshko. And And then going into Bosna, and that was a different thing yet again. It was like, that's a village. I felt so, I loved it. I just loved it. And then being exposed to gypsies I just went, what? And I was terrified. So that's where it all started. And I don't know, from there, and that always stayed with me. And then when I did this course, and I thought, okay, I gotta write a story. But you want to write a story it's got to go somewhere. It's got to have, like I said, a hook. You need the people, your reader, to be turning the page, going, where are they taking me? What's going to happen next?
I absolutely felt that, and I think I messaged you a couple times, and especially when I first started reading it, and yeah, definitely kept me intrigued throughout the whole way, because you keep sort of revealing different things on the way through, and it's yeah, really impressive, and it's like similar. I mean, when you're talking about your first trip was 1980, mine was 1976, and just similar things. Like I went to Boston as well, and like Croatia itself, and yeah, just the people that you talk about, and not only that, the clothes they wear, the music they're listening to, all
I
of
did
those
do a lot
things
of
bring up so many memories.
I did do some research on that. There were books, so I did do a lot of reading, and I did do a lot of research, um, looking at the fashion of the time, and that was very important to me. And I did do a lot of reading about history, the music of, what, it's being a part of Stonas art, and I'm not exaggerating, especially with Petar, Petar Ferkatic, learning and being exposed to all that music. And I would ask him so many, I was driving him crazy. So I would listen, and I'd just pick up, what song, where's this song, what's that song? So yeah, it was
He's a real
historic.
encyclopedia, isn't he?
He is that and soccer, but I have zero interest in. So I'm so sorry, everyone. I have zero interest in sport. So I learnt a lot, and I just, I'd be on stage. I remember I was on stage, and I'd be thinking, I'd be singing, and then I'd go an idea, and I'd go, I've got to get off stage and write this idea. But little bits and pieces, listening to other band, like older band members, guys that were in bands, listening to their stories. So, because if you're going to be a writer, if anyone's you have to be observant and listen. I'm a great listener. I love other people's stories, and you've got to be a big reader. So I just wanted to capture particularly that, because you're of my generation, Generation X, the best generation. And we are the first generation of the diaspora. We have those parents who are, God bless them, very special. And we went through that the 70s and 80s of being the WOG kids, in Australia. My experience was western suburbs. So
even when you mentioned the main character Pedro going overseas, and the envelope collection used to be something that was back in the day. And for you to actually mention that, I was just thinking about, and not only that, but going to the airport, because someone going overseas was such a big deal. You used to actually, these days people just obviously take a photo on Facebook, and you don't even know that they've left until you see them.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember that the Zagreb airport was a shed. It was not impressive. It was just this, and it was, I think, there's that part where Pedro he's embarrassed. He's gone from, Australia, and he's come to this. He goes, it's shabby, and it's grey, and it matches the grey of the skies. And so that was really important for me to try to express, and maybe even to younger, I mean, our generation will get it, but the younger, non-Croatian readers, for them to go on this journey with Pedro and to see just how bleak it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was really important.
Yeah, absolutely important. And obviously, Pedro's, and I was thinking back to a lot of people as well when I was reading the book, in terms of, like we said, the story uncovers. We don't want to give away too much, because we want people to obviously read it themselves.
There's good moments where you're going to go, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. It's really important.
Yeah, absolutely right. And secrets. I mean, like, there's a lot of secrets, a lot of family secrets. And so a lot of things that you were writing about was, sort of, entrenched into basically, the way we grew up. And it's, might not even, some of it is political, some of it's not political, and some of it's, just generic family stuff that happens
Oh, look,
that was hidden, right?
we, you know what, us Croatians, we specialize in sramota. We specialize in shame, and we love secret. We don't want to talk about stuff, So that those secrets which brew anxiety and just damages the fabric of relationships, the family, and that was very important. I wanted that to be, because that's what causes the rifts. That's what causes that damage between people and in families. But that was important.
Yeah, definitely. And basically the impact on the new generation is there as well. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
obviously interesting in terms of, Pero. And yeah, it's the way you uncovered things. I mean, that is something that sort of kept me reading, because then I want to find out, okay, so how come he's behaving this way? What's he hiding? What's going to be uncovered? Why is this person connected to Pero? Why is this happening? And yeah, it's great the way that you wove it together, and obviously like I mentioned before, music is such a big thing, and you called it Sing to Me, and there's a lot of Croatian lyrics in there that you've translated into
a
English as
lot.
well, right?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the lyrics are actually songs sung to me by my mother.
Oh,
And
there
she'll
you
just
go.
walk around the house singing, and I would actually go, stop, come back here, and I'd write them all down. My mother-in-law, there's a few little phrases that my mother-in-law had sung to me. There are some of the bigger pieces were just lyrics or poetry, stanzas that I'd written myself. And then I actually asked my cousins in Croatia to translate that for me. But yeah, my mother, who is actually she actually has a beautiful voice, and she just walks around the house singing. If she's not singing, she's praying and scaring me because she prays in the dark. And I really thought the house was haunted at one stage. And so that was really, and I wanted that music had to be woven through the song. I wanted that. I think it's the politics of music, and look, because it's set at 1980, it's set in Yugoslavia. And there's still, the fractions, we won't speak to that person because they're this, they're that. But music seems to, even here I've noticed, music will cross over. Do you know what I mean? We will listen to your Bosnian Muslim artists. We love, you got Jahale Beslic. No one's going to question that. They love him. And even over in Croatia now, there will be all these, turbo Serb folk music that's coming across, which is absolutely loved over there. So I'm always fascinated by how music, the politics of music, usually, what am I trying to say? People will forgive certain things if the music is good and it touches them. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely, and it
So
connects
that,
people.
yeah,
Absolutely,
it
it connects
connects
people
people. There you
together.
go. Yeah.
100%. There's no sometimes there's no barriers. Sometimes there is a barrier, because you've got to be careful
Oh
about
God,
when
yeah,
you
let's
play
be
as
honest.
well.
Sometimes there is definitely here. Oh, there's barriers here. But it's interesting over there. It is different.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the main character, without giving too much
Yeah,
away, is a singer. And so,
it is.
and we spoke about, basically how music has influenced. So a couple of stories that are brought up in the book, are they some things that you've gone through as well, or have heard about?
Are they? Look, Pedro. Are they? Maybe. Look, there is. I think. Okay, where I would connect or understand Pedro is that beauty of being on stage with other musicians when it really works, and when you have the connection with the audience, because there is an energy in the room. There is, and when they are switched on to what you're doing, that feeds your energy and it makes your night. There's something really magical about it.
Absolutely. And
It really is. There is.
absolutely, you've experienced that both as a solo career and with bands, and even
Yeah,
Italian bands
yeah.
you play with, right? So you're a multilingual
I,
singer here.
I have. Gosh, I think I've done this. I've been in bands for 40 years. So, and but you know what? We always joke. I sing in 3 languages, but I don't seem to get any of them right. I'm always just making up words. My fourth language is, Pedista says, is Albanian. I just start singing, making up words on stage. He goes, "You singing Albanian?" I go, "Yes, I am."
You've got to get through it some way. Absolutely. So
Oh,
tell
I'm the
us,
singer. I just tell people I'll sing what I want. Don't listen to me. Let me do what I want.
when the books arrived at your house, obviously you've released CDs before. These books arrived at your house. Was the thrill similar? Was it different? I mean, you ordered. I've got
You
my
know,
copy right here. So,
yeah, I think it was maybe even more.
Mhm.
It is so difficult to get a book published, and especially a book like this, which is not a typical. It's not romance. It's not romantasy. It's not crime. It's a very, I would call it a niche book. It's unique in its own way. I can't. I was desperate to find something of a similar topic, and I just couldn't. So I went, okay, I'm going to write this myself. You guys, no one wants to write, I'll do it. And there was I was so proud because, I'm an older lady, and I'm a debut author in my late 50s, so it really made it special that this is something that I could do, that I could achieve. Someone reminded me the other day that I have been talking about this for 20 years. And they go, you know, 20 years ago, you told me you were going to do this. I went, oh, did I? Oh my God, I didn't know.
So finally you
So,
did it.
yeah, and it's just the fact that I am proud of it, that it is something that I feel I can put out there and go, there you go.
That's brilliant. No, absolutely. You should be proud of the achievement. And that was the question I was going to ask you about. So, when I go to a bookstore, I typically go to the music section or I go to the sports section.
Yeah.
Autobiographies are my thing. Where would we categorize this particular book? Because
Oh,
there's
it's
lots
a
of different,
literary
I
fiction,
know it's fiction, but,
but you put it in the
subgenre,
literary. Sorry, what was
subgenre,
that? So,
any subgenres underneath?
well, yeah. Oh, look, all I could say, I mean, it is. You'd go to the literary fiction section. Look, I think it's even got. It's an international. To me, it's got an international element to it. It's so look. This is. It is. It's not easy. This is why I think I struggled getting it published, because I needed to find someone who thought, okay, it's not a typical book, but it's still a story, and it's still a story that you can go through. Because I know, look, I've had non-Croatians who've messaged me saying I couldn't put it down. I had to know, and they loved Pero, and they loved all the. They're going. I had to find out. One of them said, I've just gotten up to Rana, which is a sister. He goes, and I'm going to finish it today. And if people who never read are reading it, they said, I never read, but I'm going to give it a go. And they go,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm reading this book. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely rarely read a fiction, but it sort of grabbed me, not sort of, it definitely grabbed me, and it was, as I said, it's hard to let go because of the way that you've written it and the way that, secrets are revealed and, the way what Pedro's lived through both in his history and his current life and everything else. And there's not only Pedro, there's definitely many different characters. I think Beppo was another one that I really liked, and
I
you
love
mentioned
Beppo,
him as
yes.
well before. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously the poor spouses and children and all these sorts of things, and
It's
everyone's in there.
interesting. I had one review where the reviewer had said that they didn't feel that the female characters were well rounded enough. And I was discussing this with another writer friend, and I said, well, we've got to think about it's a time where these women their voices weren't going to be loud, and um, it's a very patriarchal time. The men were the boss. The men were men, and the women played their role, and their roles
Absolutely.
weren't, and they were quieter roles. They copped a lot. So though I still loved the female characters, I still can't see. I was found quite that. I thought it was interesting because I thought I still, for me, the female characters stood out. But in the end, it still is Pero's story. It's a man's. I really wanted him. It's a man's journey.
Yeah, it
You know,
absolutely is.
that was the thing. Pero's journey through, and the story of redemption for Pero.
Yeah, absolutely. And pretty much, everyone almost in the book, music is such a pivotal thing in their
Well, it
life.
is,
And it is.
and
And when you think about it, it is for all of us.
it is, and we are not. There is not a lot of our history. There's not a lot of written history. We don't. And let's be honest. Do you know many Croatians who have bookcases in their we didn't grow up. We grew up with Encyclopedia Britannica or World Book, and
That's
nobody
it.
read them.
Yeah,
But there were no
Panasha. There was
books. And
a book, a picture book of Jeff Panasha with all of
okay, you had
Croatian
that.
through it.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. But it's a picture book. We're not. So we're not. It's out. The history isn't so much written down for the majority of our parents' generation or even us. So it's so much is done through song. So much
Absolutely.
of his, yeah. So that's why it is so important. Like my mother, or who is barely literate, barely. I mean, my mother doesn't read, so for her, singing and those words are a form of storytelling.
Absolutely. You've launched it now. You're already thinking about the next one, or you just want this
There
to
is,
settle, or
I have,
what are you doing?
no, I'd love this to really, if, God willing, I'd love it to really, do its thing, take off. There is um, there's a crime novel that I have started. I'm just in the first draft. It is set in the mid '80s. I've got an obsession with the '80s. You can let me. You have to let me get through
We
this
all do.
'80s. And I just love these two. There's another couple of guy characters. One is Croatian, he has to be, and he's got another best mate. And they just find that they're these bumbling boys that who just low level crims who find themselves in this situation, and they're like, how the hell did we get here? They're not
Mm.
meant to be. So it is. So there's a bit of humor in it, and it's, well, I'm hoping. I'm still working on it, but I'm also loving, and that's set in the western suburbs. Um,
Oh,
so yes,
looking forward to that one as well. As I
there's
said,
music in that one as well. There's a bit of music in that one as well.
with Sing to Me, I laughed out loud on page one 3 times. And then after that, obviously, like we mentioned before, there's a lot of politics, a lot of music in there. So yeah, definitely a great read. So tell us what's, other than Crow 2000, what else are you doing? How are you promoting it? What happens with an author? Do they?
This, I'm going to have to do a lot of work on this one because it's only a small not-for-profit publisher. So a lot of it is social media. I think it's, yeah, a lot of it. There's a lot of and it's. I'm really hoping word of mouth. I'm hoping that you can only do so much. There's as much media. I mean, your publisher gets behind you and does what they can, but when you're competing against the big guys, they have that money to spend, and they can send their writers out. So mine's a little different. But in saying that, there is a difference. What the beauty of being with a small publisher, and what I love about Westwards, who is Westwards Books, who published it, I was able to write the book that I wanted, and I was under there was no pressure that I have to sell thousands of copies to make money. I just get to write my book, get it out there, and if I get, I'd love to sell thousands. That would be wonderful because I just think this story is worthy, and I think
Absolutely.
knowing about it's just this story about our parents, this Croatian community, and I think we're much maligned in the press about certain things. And I just want people to understand that bit of history that I took going about. There is reasons why. Maybe you got to through fiction, you can almost say, look, maybe this gives you a reason why people chose to do what they did during a war, or why they live a certain way after that.
Mm.
So that was what I was trying to also, as a child of a first generation daughter, to understand why my parents are the way they are, why our parents' generation is the way they are.
Yeah, they definitely lived through a lot. And, then
They
the
lived through a
generation
lot, and
obviously after that had the 90s war as well. So, yeah, I mean,
there's a
yeah,
story there as well, but that's another one. I'm going to set that one over in
yeah.
later.
But as
But that's,
people,
yeah,
we definitely have gone through a lot. And obviously, particularly our relatives who stayed in
oh
Croatia.
God, yeah.
You
I
know what I
mean,
mean? And so, yeah,
yeah.
this story uncovers a lot of that, which, as I
Well,
said,
stuff that I
I
didn't
thought I
know.
couldn't
I'll
put
be
down.
honest. Yeah, there was the history. There was elements of the history that I wasn't aware of until I went back and went, oh, okay. And even my husband said, "Did you study?" I go, "Yeah, I had to go back," and I read, and I went, "Well, I didn't know that, and I didn't know that," and so that was yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, you uncovered a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different areas. Obviously, starts in
Yeah,
Australia, then it heads over to Croatia, but then different parts of Croatia. Bugojno was
yeah,
in there as well.
yep.
There's so many aspects and so many different
I
elements
wanted,
and regions.
yeah, I wanted Pero to be from Lika. That's where my father-in-law is from. So I really wanted that, and because I wanted it to be in Croatia. He had to. I wanted him to be a Croatian from Lika. Then, because I don't know, these are places I've been, and then I wanted him to go on a journey. So I went, okay, wait, he can go there. I wanted him Zadar. He goes to Vid, and they're all places that I've been. And then he does go even further. And the reason why I wanted him in Bosna, that narodne music with the pevajkas, with and that the kafanas from that region, I really wanted that to be a part of in the book. So I do take him because I wanted it. I think I really wanted the reader just to experience more than just one area.
Oh, you definitely evoke the different regions and the different types of people in different regions
Well,
as
I'm
well.
glad. I'm glad because it took age. It was a lot of work, and I wanted to make sure I did it justice. Interesting. I don't know if you saw Sveta Obitelj, the movie Holy Family, which was at the Croatian Film Festival.
No, I haven't seen
That
it
was
yet.
just okay. Well, that movie was beyond. That was stunning.
Mhm.
Set in 1963 in Slavonia, and I went and saw it, and I was so glad because I was concerned that I might not have, um, really described that atmosphere of that time. And I thought, okay, I'm glad. Okay, I think I've done a good job because
Definitely have. And tell us, where can people get their hands on this book?
you
Obviously,
can.
I ordered online, and that's how I
Yeah,
got mine delivered.
Westwards. Yeah, you can go to Westwards, or you can you can follow me on Facebook, Jelena Curic. I've got Jelena Curic, Jelena.Curic writer on Instagram, and there it is on what do you call it, on the page. There's a link. You can even go into, if you want, go into your local bookstore and ask for Sing to Me, get them to order it in. That would help me. And if you do like it, put it give a little review. I need word of mouth. I really do. I need, and I think I need this Croatian story needs to go out there.
Absolutely. No,
I think it's worth, I do. I just think it's worth getting out there and,
stunning debut novel. Congratulations, Jelena. And yeah,
thank you. There.
hopefully people get behind it, and hopefully we get to read a lot more from you as well. There's only the beginning, right?
Yeah. I do a lot of little short stories, but I'm doing, like I said, I've got to get this crime novel, but I've got to find time. I'm going to have to let my house go, just stay dirty because, I can't, I haven't got time.
Leave it to the kids. Leave it to the kids. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you're making an appearance at the Gold Coast tourney as well. You're
Yes,
talking about the
yeah.
books and things, right? So
Yeah.
those little appearances, I think, with the Croatian community, and obviously you did one in Mudgee with just the obviously the writers community as well, and
Yeah, that was wonderful.
that's
The
good.
Mudgee Readers Festival was fantastic. And I've got a history festival coming up in November. So yeah, it's wonderful, which is which will be interesting. There is a Moroccan lady, a Moroccan writer, a Greek writer, and myself. So talking about multiculturalism and the history writing within that kind of context, because the book is got a historical element, of course. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they're not written down, they'll be lost in the future. So yeah, it's
Amen.
definitely, like you said,
Amen.
it's got the great historical element there. Well, good luck with the book, Yelena. Thanks so much for your time. And
Thank you so much for having me.
no problem. And sincerely, congratulations. Obviously, I've
Thank
listened to your CDs now. I've seen you gig so many times, and now I've read your book. Unbelievable. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I will see you at the next wedding, darling.
Indeed. Yeah, oh, maybe the 20 before that. We'll see then.
Okay.
Thanks, Yelena.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well,